So I've already reached my lot goal. Now what? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Octavia Darling. If you're new here, I create content related to my locks, lifestyle, health, and fitness journey. So before we hop into this video, go ahead and give your girl a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so that you can join this community of like-minded individuals. So if you remember in my last video, I spoke about, well, I didn't even speak in the last video, but basically I realized that I reached my lot goals. And what was my lot goals? My lot goals has always been waist length, and that's from the moment that I started my lock journey. Hopefully you guys can see, step back here, but my longest lock is officially at my waist, and this is with me not even having a retwist or anything like that. So yeah, I reached my lot goal, but I didn't think I was going to reach it so soon. So now I'm like, okay, what now? Like, I thought I would feel so much different. I thought that I would look a little bit different as far as like how my locks would look at waist length, but neither of those are the case. Like, I don't feel any different. I don't feel like I look any different, and it's kind of playing with me right now. If you did not know, I began my lock journey on April 4th of 2020, and I started by using the two-strand twist method. That was the best decision I've ever made as far as which form did I want to start my locks as. And if you're wondering why, it's mainly because I was able to still have a nice style as I was transitioning to be locked. The two-strand twist was very manageable for me, and I liked the idea that it was very low maintenance. Imagine like how cool it is to see your hair transform from two-strand twist and to be locked. Like, that's just so cool. But like I said, it was by far the best decision I've ever made. When I did start the two-strand twist, my locks was literally up here, like right here on my neck. And coming from an individual who's always had long hair ever since I was a kid, that was very nerve-wracking for me, because I was like, wait, am I really gonna be walking around with my hair right in my neck like that? And I just felt kind of uncomfortable, but more so because it was playing on my confidence, it was playing on my ego, it was just playing on my overall idea of what beautiful means. And I remember when I was like around 4 months being locked, I just had to have a moment where I sat in front of the mirror and affirmed myself. Octavia, you are beautiful. Octavia, you love your hair. Octavia, you are a confident woman. So many different positive affirmations I had to speak to myself to literally just like hype myself up, because I just wasn't feeling it. So fast forward, okay, now my locks are starting to bud, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have locks. Like, I'm actually growing locks. I remember my first lock that started to bud was in the back. Let me see if I can find it. It was this lock right here. This was the first lock that started to bud, and when it did, I remember like just touching it and feeling it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So like for me, my locks started to transition in the back quicker than it did in the front. So like I started to have locks that formed back here, but in the front it still kind of looked like two-strand twists. How is that the case? I have no idea, but that's what happened for me on my journey. And I remember thinking like, okay, this is happening. Like, this is happening. And mind you, I still had the mindset and I was very naive to the fact that locks are not technically permanent. Like, there are ways that you can remove your locks, but I went in with the idea of I'm making this permanent decision for my hair, for my crown. It was a test of faith, I should say. It was a complete test of faith, like in the sense of, oh, there's no turning back now type of thing, right? So, you know, my locks start to bud, and I'm starting to see things transitioning. And in the meantime, I'm changing as well. I remember this is when I really started to embark on my spiritual journey, tap more into my femininity, and just literally discover who I was as a woman in my 20s. You know, like a young woman in my 20s living in Atlanta, you know, just trying to find myself basically. But my locks played a really big part of that. I remember in the beginning stages when I used to try different lock styles because I felt like my hair wasn't pretty enough unless it was styled. I didn't like how it looked when it was just like, because as you can see, I have a natural like middle part when the way I started my locks. And I just didn't like how it looked when it was just like stopping right here. And like my hair used to like flare out all different directions and stuff. And I'm like, this is just not it. Like, this is not what I envisioned. But y'all, I'm gonna be real with you. There were a few locked girlies that I used to come across on Pinterest who locks was literally my length, if not longer, down to their butt, past their butt, by their knees. And I was like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I see for myself. This is what I see for myself. So I said, I'm just going to stick with it because for me, the idea of having long, beautiful locks just played a lot on who I am as an individual. It just basically brings out that personality of me, of being just this, you know, confident woman who just, you know, has patience, who knows how to trust the process, who just loves herself in her natural state. Like, that's what I equated it to. It took some time for me to adjust to the fact that my locks are beautiful no matter what state they're in. My locks are beautiful no matter if they're styled, no matter if I have a retwist, no retwist. In every stage, my locks are beautiful. And I have to say, the first time that I colored my locks, I really started to get a feel for its versatility even more, because I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I love the color. I love the color because it's a change. It's something that's different, right? And coming from someone who always used to color their hair, even as a loose natural, even when I had a relaxer, for me, it was a sense of comfort. Basically, it was a sense of comfort in the idea of, oh yeah, you definitely can still color your hair even in the locked state. You know what I'm saying? So it was just something that was like it made me feel good to know that I could still do something that I've always loved to do, even though my hair was locked. You feel me? I remember when I first colored my locks, I think I did the copper color, and believe it or not, that was actually my first YouTube video as well, which is so cool because I like started my personal brand, Octavia Darling, and I recorded myself, you know, just coloring my locks for the first time. And even to this day, it has over 20,000 views, which is mind-blowing to me. But I'm sharing that to say it was an experience for me because coloring your hair when it's locked is a complete difference from coloring your hair in its natural state or even when you have a relaxer. And for me, I had to learn the difference, right? So like, ideally, I don't use a color brush when I color my locks. I learned to just use my hands and just like pat the color in or just smooth the color out. I use the brush for like my roots when I'm like doing the color at the end and just making sure the color goes all the way through. But you know, if I was a loose natural, I would use a brush all the way, you know? So it was just learning different techniques, and even till this day, I still learn different techniques of what works best for my hair. But it's just been a cool experience because I have been able to own my journey, like own it, like, okay, this is what my journey, this is what has occurred so far in my journey, and this is what I learned works best for my hair, you know, because as you know, what may work best for me may not work best for you or someone else. So it's just basically tapping into that individuality of what my hair likes and what my hair doesn't like. When it comes to like the styling and learning how to do my own retwists and all of that, literally I taught myself in the sense of I did the research. I watched lock tutorials just like the same ones that I create for y'all, but like I took the time, and I still take the time to learn, because you can never know too much, right? So once I started to find my flow of doing my own retwists and doing my own lock styles, I was like, oh, I got this in the bag, right? Like, girl, not only can you color your own hair, but you can also retwist it. You can also style it. You can just overall maintain your locks. You don't need a loctician. You can go to one, but you don't need it. And so I just been owning that. These past 4.5 years, I've just been owning the fact that I can take care of my locks myself. You know, would I already be at my goal if I was going to a loctician? Who knows? I mean, who knows? I'm just going to say that because I've taken out the time to learn my hair, learn my locks, and just basically own what works best for me, that's what's gotten me here. So why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this to say your lock journey is personal. You hear this all the time. I say it quite often, but it's really true. Your lock journey is personal. I am blessed to have already reached my lock goal at only 4.5 years, but that is not to discredit those who have not reached their lock goals yet and they're further along than me. That's not what this is about. It's so pivotal for you to own your journey because it is personal. You play a huge part in your hair growth. It's not just about the external products, y'all. It's really not. You have to have a healthy diet. You have to make sure that you are consistent with the maintenance. You have to water it like it's plants. You have to nurture it. Talk to your hair. Like, it's a lot that goes into this. But once you find your groove, own it. Own it. Don't switch up on things if it's not broken. You know what I'm saying? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Find your way. Find your groove. Find the products that works best for you and just own it, you know? So with that being said, I've reached my first lock goal. But now it's time to move on to the next lock goal. And can y'all guess what my next lock goal is? Can y'all? Because I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, if it took me 4.5 years to reach this goal, I wonder how long it's going to take me to reach the next one. But my next lock goal is butt length. Yes, butt length. So I don't know if y'all can see, but I want my locks to be all the way down here. All the way down here. So let's see how long it takes for that. We are entering the 4th quarter of this year. And I've said this to you all a few videos back that I'm ready for a change. And that change is here. So I will check y'all in the next video. Thank you for tuning in and have an amazing week ahead. Bye.